What's up guys, Aaron here. In this video, I am going to go over Minority Mindset's video about why he sold a large chunk of his Bitcoin. So let's take a look.
Over the last number of weeks, Bitcoin is breaking new record highs, and I sold off a big chunk of my Bitcoin.
Now, it's important that he said he sold a large chunk. He didn't say the percentage. He didn't say he sold all of it. He said he sold a chunk. Now, he made this video because it's a great video. It got over 100,000 views, and it's great for viewership. But he still may have quite a lot of his Bitcoin. We don't know.
I began buying Bitcoin around 2017, back when Bitcoin was around $3,000, $3,500 a coin, and I've been buying it ever since.
So accumulating Bitcoin since it was $3,000 puts him in a very, very good position for being in profit. A position that most people are not in, especially if you got in during the last cycle.
Cryptocurrency in general was a speculative piece of my portfolio. What I mean by speculative is, in my mindset, in this portfolio that I have, it is something that I know could go up a lot, but it could also go straight down to zero.
Okay, so this is the first piece of criticism, or at least I disagree with him here. He is putting Bitcoin in the same category as speculative investments. Now, I personally do not think that Bitcoin is speculative. When he first started buying it in 2017, it was a lot more speculative. When I bought my first Bitcoin way back in 2013, it was really speculative. It could have easily gone to zero and failed. But he made this video a few weeks ago in 2024, when there are ETFs, when countries are adopting it, when the two primary candidates for the 2024 election are both now becoming in support of it. I do not think that Bitcoin is speculative, and definitely not the way he's describing it.
And so with the speculative nature, well, I don't make money unless I sell.
So he says that he doesn't make money unless he sells his Bitcoin. So first thing to note is he is living in a fiat world. He is living in a world where he wants more fiat dollars. And there's nothing wrong with having enough passive income in fiat to support your lifestyle. Totally not in disagreement with that. But he is lumping his Bitcoin investments in the same category as a startup company where it could do 100, 200, 1000x, or it could go to zero. That is my first issue with this.
When I invest in real estate, it's for cash flow because I buy properties that are going to make rental income, that are going to pay for the expenses and put money in my pocket every month. I like the cash flow. When it comes to stocks, most of my stock market portfolio is for cash flow. These are dividend producing funds that are paying me with cash flow, these dividends every quarter.
So I think it's cool that he is investing in real estate and stocks, and he's doing so for monthly cash flow. I think that's great. But again, this whole idea that Bitcoin is basically useless or worthless until I sell it into US dollars, or sell it into US dollars and then convert into dividend producing stocks or real estate, that I do not agree with.
So now, when I've seen this big run up in cryptocurrency prices, this was an opportunity now for me to sell out of some of the speculative piece of my portfolio because it was getting also overbloated in my portfolio, and I'm gonna put it here.
So this is one thing I do agree with him, where if you have a certain percentage of your portfolio that you want in real estate, a certain percent you want in stocks, a certain percent you want in Bitcoin and gold, and one category massively outperforms, then rebalancing is something that you may want to do if that's what you want to do. So him taking some of the Bitcoin gains and rotating that into cash flowing real estate does make sense to me.
You don't actually make money until you sell.
You don't make money until you sell. So the big difference between myself and this guy, and this guy is way more successful and wealthy than I am, so no disrespect to him, but he is living inside of a fiat world. He is basing his life on fiat income. He is basing his life off of how much dollars he gets every single month, not realizing that there's another way to base wealth, and it's actually in a fixed hard asset like Bitcoin. 21 million, no more. There will be more real estate. You can actually build more waterfront real estate. They've been doing that all around the world. Asset scarcity, I have not heard him mention yet. And really the foundational principles of why Bitcoin is the best, soundest, hardest money available I have not heard him talk about that yet.
Because if I have this Bitcoin sitting in a USB drive somewhere like I had it in, it's not actually money that I can use, it's money that's sitting there. I mean, it's an investment, it has value, but it's also speculative.
So I do understand his perspective here, where if you have Bitcoin just sitting there in a USB drive, I assume he's talking about a hardware wallet, it's not actually doing anything except absorbing liquidity, except absorbing money flowing into the system, except being one of, if not the best performing asset over the last 10 years, right? So it's not doing anything like giving him money every single month. That's true. We learned our lessons in 2021 and 2022 when it came to getting yield on crypto. We obviously don't really feel safe doing that right now, and I personally don't feel safe doing that right now. I have heard about some over-collateralized Bitcoin lending companies, but I do not know if you can actually participate as an individual and not a corporation. So it's true, if you have a Bitcoin, it's not pumping off cash flows into your business, or it's not giving you money every single month. But he's missing a greater point, like I talked about earlier, 21 million, that's it.
I didn't worry about speculative assets. This was not something that I even considered until I had a very sizable portfolio here and a very sizable portfolio here.
Okay, I gotta stop really quick. So he didn't even consider investing in anything speculative before he had a massive real estate and stock portfolio. So he is speaking from a privileged or just wealthier place here, where most people watching this video most likely do not have a massive real estate and stock portfolio where then they can play with speculative stuff like Bitcoin, which I don't agree with. But he's saying that he already basically had a lot of income, had a lot of passive income coming in before he got into building businesses, investing in businesses, and Bitcoin. And again, throwing Bitcoin in the same category as startup businesses, I don't agree with.
100% my focus was real estate. And then after I started to build a portfolio here, I started diversifying here into stocks and started investing my money into stocks and different types of funds. After I did that, that's when I even thought about putting some money into these speculative investments because I wanted to build and establish some wealth here first.
So even Michael Saylor, who is a CEO of a publicly traded company, tells people, buy Bitcoin, don't buy MicroStrategy. Just focusing on building a real estate portfolio and getting stock before buying Bitcoin or buying Ethereum or another altcoin or whatever you want to do, I think, again, it's just coming from a very wealthy, existingly wealthy perspective. I already had a lot of real estate, I had a lot of stocks, and I'm looking at Bitcoin as a way to maybe just grow my fiat, sell it, and then reinvest it into stocks and real estate. I think for most of us watching, we either don't have the real estate and stocks, we either really believe in Bitcoin, or we realize that we're never going to be able to grow a massive stock and real estate portfolio, which may be a cool thing to do, but we're just not going to be able to do that unless we believe in something like Bitcoin and hold it and hodl it through all the ups and downs, through all the turbulence and all the volatility. And Bitcoin is our only way for a lot of us to get out of the cycle of debt and working a job we hate. And it's the only way to grow generational wealth in a huge way.
What's important for me is to know my own investment goals. I'm not here to tell you what to do, and I don't recommend what I do to anybody else. But my goal is I want to work to grow the cash flow.
So no argument with him there. I completely get it, and I think that's a great goal. In a video I did several months ago, I talked about when or if you should take profits from this bull run. And I straight up said, and I still believe it, if you're in life-changing profits where, let's say, you have enough Bitcoin to where you could lavishly or even just easily live off of 4 or 5% of that Bitcoin if you sold it to dollars, and then you're able to quit your job, and then you have an extra 8 to 10 hours a day to invest in a business or do something else to make your life better, I think that is something to consider. It's not for everybody, but it's something to definitely consider. So cash flow, I'm not shitting on it at all. I think it's great, and I think if that gets you out of a lifestyle or a job that you hate, I think it's awesome to have that goal. And his goals are not my goals and maybe are not your goals. So it is important to know what your goals are and when would you take profits in this market. How would you take profits and all that kind of stuff. So overall, he's all about cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. A little bit like Warren Buffett here, where he doesn't like Bitcoin because it doesn't really do anything. It's a pet rock, right? Now, again, this is just a very different way of thinking. It's a thinking that you, if you're watching this, probably don't hold. It's a thinking that Bitcoin is not going to gobble up a ton of different markets. The total addressable market for Bitcoin is enormous. So for him to be like, we got new all-time highs for Bitcoin, I'm going to take those profits and turn it into real estate, which will then pay me every month, I think is great. That's what he wants to do. It sounds like he did not sell all of his Bitcoin, and he's probably smart enough to not do that. But for myself and probably you, we have a different vision of Bitcoin. We understand it probably deeper than this gentleman here, and we're holding it for the long term, and we're okay with the volatility because with the volatility comes the insane gains. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Till next time, talk with you soon, and bye for now.